First, we turn to Mike Tobin with the very latest on the ground in Israel. Hi, Mike.
Good morning, Carly. Good morning, Todd. Once again, southern Israel took a hit from an Iranian missile. It hit in the town of Beersheba, very near an apartment and an industrial complex, causing fire and damage on the ground. No reports of injuries. There are reports that this single missile made its way through the air defenses because one of the interceptors malfunctioned. There were no reports of injuries. Again, Beersheba is the same town where yesterday a missile hit the Soroka hospital, resulting in dozens of minor injuries, some of them serious. The Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency tells me in an exclusive interview Iran does have enough uranium for several nuclear bombs, and the regime is just a quick step away from enriching to weapons-grade uranium. However, he said he saw no plans for Iran to take that step. And he believes even at this stage, diplomacy is the path to prevent Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon.
I believe that there is a way to take this danger or this concern out of the table in a negotiated way with a very robust, as I said, I've been in conversations, very good conversations with Steve Witkoff and with the Iranians as well. I believe that there are ways in which we can make sure that Iran does not get a nuclear weapon.
Now, Israel reports every day their fighters and drones are taking out missile systems in Iran. Today, we have images of that. The IDF says strikes were carried out in the areas of Isfahan and Tehran, saying the equipment that you see in these images are both radar installations and missile systems intended to strike Israeli aircraft. For days now, Israel says that their fighters have enjoyed air superiority, meaning they can operate at will in the skies over Iran without the risk of being shot down. Carly and Todd?
Okay, Mike Tobin live for us in Tel Aviv. Mike, thank you. Let's bring in Behnam Ben Taleblu, Iran Program Senior Director and Senior Fellow for the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Behnam, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. So yesterday we also learned that President Trump is going to make his final decision within 2 weeks on whether or not the U.S. will take military action against Iran. So how do you feel about that 2-week deadline?
Great to be with you and good morning. Listen, I think all eyes will be on President Trump and on the U.S. in these 2 weeks. But given that deadline, it gives the Israelis significant time to continue to erode the long-range strike capabilities and really defang the Iranian missile, military, and nuclear apparatus. So should the president decide to enter, the U.S. actually has less work here. So this is consistent both with the president's philosophy and with the idea of America first.
What do you make of the theory that this 2-week window from Trump is merely a delay tactic to allow Israel to perform a covert op inside Fordo to do exactly the same thing that the bunker buster would do, which is destroy Fordo?
Well, a covert op designed to ferry out the uranium would be 100% safer, would be 100% more secure way, because you wouldn't know if, you would know actually if the uranium was not destroyed in some kind of blast or explosion. But conversely, it comes with a lot more risks. I don't see this, by the way, as some kind of covert op or psyop or anything designed to buy time for that. I actually see it as designed to buy time for the Iranians to realize how much of a bind they are, how much they have critically lost, and how much President Trump is giving them one last chance before really hitting pedal to the metal here. To be honest, just looking objectively as an outsider, the only thing that is standing between the collapse of this regime and certain death is President Trump. So President Trump has a real capability to say it's dismantle or else.
So over the past week, and it was a week when we learned that Israel did strike inside Iran, the axis of resistance has been very quiet. Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas. How do you feel? How do you think that Iran feels about the lack of response from their terror proxies?
They feel alone and afraid. And if I had to, connect the dots, this is probably one reason why the Israelis witnessed and sensed that this is a sense of opportunity. The fact that Hezbollah and Hamas have been deracinated and neutered, the fact that the U.S. had been dealing with the Houthis, the fact that the Shia militias in Iraq were too afraid to fire, or whose firing was not necessarily impactful throughout the course of the wars of the post-October 7 Middle East, meant that the Islamic Republic lost one major leg of its conventional deterrent. Conversely, as you see with the missile strategy not performing as well either, the other leg of the regime's conventional deterrent had fallen And given the fact that the regime is weak at home, economically bankrupt, socially has little to no base at home, this is all why the Israelis sense that this was now or never.
I want to add something to all the ills that the current regime is undergoing right now. Despite talk of these ongoing negotiations, do we really believe that an 86-year-old religious zealot, quite frankly, to your point in that last answer, with absolutely nothing to lose, is really going to negotiate? That's my big concern here.
Well, the real art of the deal for the president is to make this 86-year-old zealot that you mentioned, which is the Middle East's longest-running contemporary dictator, to do exactly what his predecessor did, which he called drinking from the poison chalice, or settling for a suboptimal solution, forcing him to do what he doesn't want to do. But in the case that his ideology almost certainly overwhelms his pragmatism and his desire for survival, that he should know that the U.S. has all the capability and all the intent to really help make a nation that is a 88 million person nation not any longer be a hostage to that 86-year-old individual.
We already showed a little bit of the celebration that took place in New Jersey when Idan Alexander came home yesterday. We'll show a little bit more in the show as it progresses. But how do you think that this war with Iran is impacting the remaining hostages in Gaza?
Well, there are some folks who are saying it's overshadowing it completely. I don't see that at all the case. If you're going after the sponsor of the multiple terror proxies that the regime has created or co-opted in the Middle East, you're doing the right thing because you're disconnecting the dots between the patron and the proxy. And the more pressure you have on the patron, the more leverage actually Israel has on the proxy, be that in the Gaza Strip with Hamas or any other one that it seems to be fighting, occasionally Hezbollah in the north still. This is actually leverage that Israel has to actually be able to press to get the hostages back.
We will be watching it all. Behnam Ben Taleblu, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.